Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And if you want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're both in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you about a question that I've been thinking about recently because it's come up in my personal life with a friend of mine. And I tried to think about how I would deal with it if I was in the same situation. So let me give you the context first. A friend of mine, she is Muslim, and the guy she's dating is Hindu, and her family is very strict about the fact that she needs to marry a Muslim man. Of course, I think a lot of Muslim families are very strict in that regard. And so they're very traditional and conservative, and they would find it absolutely horrendous if she came to them and told them that she was dating a Hindu man or is in love with one and wants to marry one. And so obviously push came to shove, and her family was like, you need to get married, let's go look for a guy for you. And she had to decide whether she was going to tell them that she's in love with this Hindu guy, or was she going to break up with the man and get married to the guy that their family would recommend, a Muslim guy that their family would recommend. And she really loves this man, this Hindu guy that she's dating. She adores him. They've been dating for 3 or 4 years. They are enamored with each other. They spend all of their time with each other. And so I imagine in my head that, of course, the logical choice would be, tell them that you're interested or want to marry this man, this Hindu guy. And if they're upset about it, then of course you're gonna have to leave them, and eventually they'll come around, or they might not. Either way, you need to go along with your heart. That's what I imagined, and that's what I imagined she would do. But of course she didn't, and that's why this came up, is that she didn't. She chose her family over her love, and she told the guy that she couldn't tell her parents that she loved him, and she didn't want to break her relationship with her family, that she loved them, she loved him as well, but she loved them a lot more, I guess, and she wanted to keep her relationship with her family, so they had to break up, and they did. And now she's getting married to a man that her family recommended. So things happened very quickly. Obviously, she broke up, and the next day they arranged a meeting, and she liked the man, and now they're getting married. So she's happy, a little bit upset, of course, I'm guessing, because of the fact that she has to break up a relationship from a long time with a person that she loved, but not as upset as I thought she would be, right? Of course, that all brought up stuff in my head where I'm thinking to myself, what would I do in a situation like this? Would I choose love over family, or would I choose my family over love? Thankfully, I'm lucky enough, I think, that my family wouldn't make me make that choice. They're pretty open to the idea that I could or should or would date anyone on the planet. I can't imagine them having an issue with anyone, really. So I don't know if that would actually even come up. But I thought this was an interesting question to pose to all of you and to kind of talk about a little bit in this video, in terms of, what would INFJs do if they had to choose between love versus family? And if you guys have had to ever choose between love versus family, I'd love to hear from you, of course, on how you made that decision, or how it came about, or what was the conclusion, or if there was a conclusion, if it was positive or negative. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. But my thinking on the subject is obviously that INFJs are always interested in harmony in their relationships, in their personal relationships. So any important relationship in their life, they want it to be harmonious as much as possible. And if there isn't harmony in their personal relationships, it kind of affects every single aspect of their life. I know if I fight with my mother or my sister, even if it's a small fight, I notice that I'm not able to be as creative that day. My words are stilted when I'm writing my novel. If I'm doing videos, I feel a little bit off. If I do yoga, I'm thinking about the fight constantly. I just can't get over it until I fix that, whatever happened with my family, my sister, my brother, my mother, whoever it might be. Until I fix it, I'm not able to move past it. And so I am constantly thinking about it, constantly thinking about it. Now, I know that this is a very small thing, so obviously it's easily fixable. But I can't imagine if I was, in a situation where I had to tell my family that I'm going to have to choose someone that I love over them. I can't imagine how traumatic, or how terrible that would be on my psyche, on my spirit, and on my general sense of balance in the world. And so I can imagine that I don't know if I'd necessarily choose my family over love. Thankfully, as I said, I don't have to make that choice. But I know if I had to make the choice, I know that it would affect me terribly. I don't think I would be able to keep on going on. Not only because I would have to choose between one person that I love towards from between one person I love a lot, a family member, versus someone that I want to spend the rest of my life with as a partner, right? And that's, I think, one of the most difficult choices to make in general. And I do commiserate with anyone who has to make that choice and who has to kind of decide between two parties like that. But in general, as I said, harmony is extremely important to us. Harmony in our relationships is extremely important to us. And obviously, the ideal situation would be where everyone agrees with us and everyone's happy with us getting married to whoever, and we just go along with the person that we love, and we're still in a brilliant, harmonious relationship with our family. But I know that if we had to choose in between the two, it would affect us negatively for a long time to come. Not that we would display that to the person that we love if we had to choose them over our family, or not that we display it to our family if we had to choose our family over love. No one would actually know, I don't think, because we're very good at hiding ourselves and compartmentalizing our emotions. But I do know that if we had to be in a situation like this, it would definitely irk us on a constant basis, and it would be something that we'd constantly be thinking about and constantly ruminating about. I know that it would probably cause us health issues because we'd probably not be able to fall asleep properly, or we would have issues with taking care of ourselves properly because we'd constantly be worrying about what's happening with our relationships, and how could we do this to our family, or how could we do this to the person that we love, and what kind of a person are we? And we would lament about it, and we would berate ourselves, we'd treat ourselves crappily, we would say horrible words to ourselves, and more and more and more, right? So I can imagine that every aspect of our life, creative aspect, work aspect, love aspect, spiritual aspect, mental health, spiritual, physical, whatever health it might be, everything would be affected by this particular situation where we have disharmony in our relationship with one particular party in our life, whoever it might be. If it's family or a friend or acquaintance or even a stranger, I know that even if I have a random encounter with a stranger where we exchange some words, I know that affects the rest of my day. I know that I'll be sitting there even hours and hours later thinking, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I don't know why did I do that? Why can't I control myself? I know that person's probably having a terrible day. That's why they said that to me. Why did I have to take it personally? And I literally be sitting there 2 or 3 days even later thinking about it and lamenting about it and berating myself for it. So, and that's just an encounter with a stranger off the street. I can't imagine if I did have a disharmonious relationship with someone that I really truly care about, someone that I'm loyal to, someone that's important to me. I can't imagine how it would completely upset the balance that I've created in my life and in my psyche and in my temperament. And so, as I said, thankfully, I don't think I'd have to deal with this situation. Thankfully, everyone in my life seems pretty okay with everyone else, so that's great. But I do know, as I said, if I had to deal with it, it would be a very, very difficult situation, a very difficult decision to make in general. And I really despise choosing one aspect of my life over another. I don't like being like, all right, well, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to have to ignore everything else, and I'm going to have to ignore everyone else, and c'est la vie kind of thing. I can't do that. I can't be c'est la vie. I can't be blasé about it. I have to make sure that every aspect of my life, every portion of my life, every relationship in my life is in balance so that I can be in balance, right? And so that's what my thoughts on the subject are. Again, I have never had to deal with this, so I don't really know how it would go. I know that all the people in my life, as I said, are pretty all right with whoever I choose and whoever I'm with. But as I said, I'd love to hear from you if you have been in a situation like this, to understand how an INFJ actually deals with a situation like this, and if it's something akin or in alignment with what I think I would do in a situation like that. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is something that a lot of us have to deal with. I think we live in a pretty much a free society where we're allowed to marry whoever we want. We're not living in the 50s where that there was a lot of racism and a white woman couldn't be with a black man or vice versa. but or even other things like that. But nowadays, there are interracial marriages all the time, and there's um, a lot of transgendered marriages as well, and a lot of homosexual marriages and things like that. So in general, I'm imagining that the world is becoming more and more open to the idea of different relationships, and I'm hoping that this is the trend for the future as well. I'm hoping that people are not going to have to choose between choosing their family or between their family versus someone they love, right? I think that's the worst choice to make in the world. Again, as I said, share your stories with me. I'd love to hear from you. I am not an expert on this matter. I've never actually really had to deal with this. So I'd love to hear your opinion so that we can all learn from each other. Again, thank you so much for being on my channel, for watching my videos, even though sometimes I'm talking and I'm like, I don't know if I actually make sense anymore. So I hope I did make sense. And again, thank you so much. I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.